Hello, I'm Captain Caveman. Welcome to the Vinyl Cave. On this episode, we're going to talk about a couple of stories that happened um, um, during basically what happened. I was over in Germany. I was able to get a job over in Germany, and I did like about 3 years, almost four. And so tried to stay for the five, but wasn't able to. But at least I got almost 4 years out of there. Uh, Big Lab I was there from '86. Uh, let's see, what? No, was it '86? No, '85. No. I think it was '86. I'd have to look at my paperwork that for my for when I got the job there. But anyways, but yeah, definitely from '86 through about '89, '88, '89. I can't remember, but yeah, so 4 years. But anyway, went to a concert, and the band was called Tyran Pace, and so listen to him leaving leaving, leaving the venue. They were selling their records. I've been to a lot of concerts. This was the first one that actually had merchandise, so actually vinyl. Of course, the other ones had T-shirts and stuff like that, but this is actually where they actually were selling the vinyl. And so this right here is their Tyran Pace, Eye to Eye, and this is actually on Scratch Records. So Scratch Records, and this one is pretty wild because Eye to Eye on the beginning, there's a little section there goes, "Hey little girl, what you doing here?" And I think the girl goes, "I'm here to shoot your balls off." And it's just so funny. I just I'm a 20-year-old kid, and I thought it was awesome. Maybe I think it was more than, maybe I just turned 21 or whatever, but it was awesome. I thought it was crazy. You know what I mean? I was just like, I had to get it. But then later on, years later, many years later, they had a CD version of this. So I found the CD version, but they took off the song. They took that little segment off. So off the new version, it doesn't have it. So I got this album, and then their other album I got, Long Live Metal. They may not be in order, and this was from Noise, manufacturer in West Germany, and so this is. So I got, and then they had this one. It was the last one. This is off of Noise also, and this is called Watching You. And so it's off of Noise. All of them are off of Noise. But the interesting part was, and what happened was, is that they had their posters for each one of these. They had a huge poster. They're like those big 48 by, they're like almost like a whole door size. They're huge. And I go, well, how much? And the guy told me five marks, and I was just like, I don't want to get it, right? Then this other guy comes up and he goes, no, 1 mark. And then that's when I got pissed off. I was already been drinking because they were selling beer there. Of course, you're in Germany. They got beer. And so I was already drunk, and it pissed me off so bad that I started hurling insults towards them. Nothing bad, but like F you and stuff like that, and so I was just, because I'm like, hey, I'm American, trying to, knowing I can't speak German, and, basically, trying to gouge me for more money, And so I was, yelling at him and everything. But as I was walking away, of course, I still kept the records. I didn't leave those. So I was walking away, and of course, hindsight, is 2020. I wish I would have grabbed all those posters, but I didn't. So that was a big mistake on my side. But it is what it is. You're young. You don't think of later on down the road. Those bad boys be worth tons of money now. But anyway, and another thing that happened, went to Accept concert. Accept was the headliner, and so, but it was a very small venue. It definitely was not no stadium. I mean, I was like right in front, right there, right there with them. But what happened is that we thought we could go see the band. So me and my buddies, we're like, waited till the concert was over. And then as the roadies were loading up, like I said, it was a small video, the roadies were loading up, we went through, like, we acted like we were, of course they probably knew we wasn't part of anything, but they didn't care. They're doing their stuff, so they're loading up the trucks and everything. We're walking, we go through the back, and it was actually my other buddy. He goes, "Hey, I think we can go back there. Just act like we know, what we're doing, and like." Hey, I figured I'd give it a try. I was like, "Hey, to go see the band and stuff, right?" But we go to the back. Of course, nobody's there. The band's way gone. There's not even anybody there. But we went back to the dressing rooms, and that was the free for all. This is what happens. We go into their dressing room. Of course, it says "Accept" right there on the door, right? And so I know we took the sign off that said "Accept." Of course, it was handwritten sign, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Piece of paper, handwritten sign said "Accept," but it may not even. It may have been printed out. Can't remember because I didn't get that one. So we go in. They had the song list on there. I do have the song list. Where in my house, I do not know, but I do have it because I remember it getting packed up with the moving stuff. So I do remember I have it. If I've lost it in the last, since that time, that is a possibility. But I did have the list. And another thing that I took, well, they had tons of beer there. They had food. So me and my buddies were snacking down the food, and we're drinking the beer like going out of style, right? We're just sitting there in there, and the roadies are just right outside the dress room, loading everything up. Got these drunk Americans in there drinking all the booze, eating the food, acting like they're part of the band and everything. But then what happened was, and I still even have it today, and I'm going to show it. I stole this. It was, and maybe one of the band members touched it, because there they had bottles, they had beer bottles. So I'm hoping that one of the band members touched this. It's the Coca-Cola drink. It says, instead of drink, it has a T for drink, Coca-Cola. And so I took this hoping that somebody from the band touched it. I'm not saying they did. Nobody could have touched it. It could have just been there. Nobody even touched it. Or maybe one of the girlfriends touched it. They opened the beer for their boyfriends or their husband, whatever. But my hope is somebody touched this. So that right there is the two stories that I have. I still got more, but I just want to do a little short out because I did say that I would tell some stories about what happened. But I thought it was hilarious because, like I said, I still got this even today. It's like, and actually, I just told my daughter probably maybe about a year ago about even how this happened, and she didn't even know. I guess I never told anybody why we still keep this and why I will not let this go. We got it from Accept concert. Not saying anybody from Accept or the other band even touched it, but my hope is somebody did, and they did. My hand touched what they touched, and so it's just, I know, I know it's wishful thinking. I have no proof or anything, but that's just, I'm gonna keep that, in my mind that hey, somebody did touch that from the band, and I touched it, and of course, I hope the international laws don't come after me for stealing this. Well, I appreciate everybody's time. Captain the Caveman out, and you guys have a great day.